Hey, how's it going? I'm Chris with PearsonCopy.com, and I'm here to help your brands make more sales with email. Today, as a part of my 100 emails in 100 days breakdown challenge, I'm going to be breaking down an email from a brand called EPOS. I believe that's how you say it. They have a gaming headset that I found interesting, and I found this email basically just through my Facebook feed. I found their ad, clicked on it, went and signed up for the list, and this is the first email that I got from them. So while this is considered a welcome email, when it comes to like the sequencing and when I got it, they don't position this as a welcome email at all. It's really just they dive right into the product. And they spend a little time trying to sell you the gaming headset, which is, as far as I understand it, their main product when it comes to what I signed up for. So that's the context behind the email. With that being said, I'll go ahead and dive in and start breaking this thing down. First thing we're going to start with, per usual, is the subject line. So, feel the game, not the headset. This is a feature benefit headline. They're essentially saying and promising that you'll get lost in the game. You'll feel the game more, and you won't actually think about the headset because, as they explain later, it's lightweight, it's comfortable, it's like you're not even wearing it. So the big promise here in the feature benefit is feel the game, not the headset. The next piece here is the from name. And they use standard practice when it comes to most brands. They use their brand's name, EPOS Gaming, and then for their email address, they have gaming at mail.eposaudio.com. So a few things here, like I mentioned in other videos, if you can make this come from an actual person or make it feel like come from an actual person, that's going to make it feel more natural and feel more real for people that are reading the email. When it is a brand, when you don't have a person facing outward for the brand and it's just the brand itself, making this feel like it comes from a real person helps a ton. The other thing too with their from email is it looks like they're using a subdomain, so maybe they have some deliverability things going on. But this right here may be tough for people to reply to because they may not be able to remember it. So if you can get if you have deliverability issues and you're using subdomains and things like that, try to fix that. See if you can get back to having just from name at domainname.com if you can. It makes it a lot easier for people to reply or remember your email address if they need it. But yeah, so that's two things I see here with this. And then moving down the email here. So this email is pretty short. It's pretty short and sweet. They do use one big image here with their product and the customer or prospect here using the product. But before we dive into that, we'll start at the top here. They have their brand name here, EPOS, and then they have a products, partnerships, and supports menu item up here. Two things here. One, I think that their brand name here is great. It's small enough to where it doesn't catch your eye and drag you too much into it. It's enough to let you know that, hey, let the reader know, hey, you're in the right spot. This is exactly what you signed up for. This is the brand you signed up for. So that's good. The other thing here, when it comes to their menu items here, products, partnership, support, I signed up with the assumption and intent of getting information on the gaming headset, and they're mentioning products, partnerships, and support here. I haven't bought anything yet, so I don't. This menu here doesn't really make a lot of sense with this email, so I potentially remove this or find different ways to tie. If you're going to keep this menu, tie this menu into the product itself. So maybe you can have different types or different models of headsets up here, or price ranges, or something that relates to the actual headset that they're selling, as opposed to just general items like products. Because I don't know what else they sell. I haven't looked yet. I just signed up because I wanted the information on the gaming headset. So yeah, just here, make sure that the consistency and the read through, the through line of this email, the concept of this email is consistent across all elements. That's the one thing I would change about this menu is just switch this up so it relates to the gaming headset as opposed to just general broad topics with the brand. The next section here, they have an image here. So they have essentially a customer or a gamer using the headset. I think that when it comes to images, these can be helpful. And I think they do a good job here of just showing, hey, this is the headset. This is what it looks like. This is a person using it. I think that's a great use of the image. Another thing to consider too is depending on how they use copy, they could remove this image entirely and just use copy to sell the headset. But when it comes to gamers, in most cases, gamers are pretty visual. So the copy has to be super emotional, super, what do you want to say, gut punchy. So it has to really get their emotions stirred for them to actually pay attention and read. I'd assume I am a gamer myself as well. So I'm in gaming mode. It's very visual, very eye first, very sight first. So if you want to get their attention, it has to be very, very, very intriguing or triggering in the sense of like, it has to cause an emotion of some kind, right? It has to cause some kind of emotional resonance or reaction. Images can shortcut that if it's the right image in the right place, in the right context. So that's something to consider too with images is if you're going to use them, make sure that they're communicating the proper message or the right message or the right sales message that you want to convey when it comes to selling your product. So I think EPOS in this sense does a good job because they use the use of the headset by the customer that's wearing it. It gives a visual of what it looks like and potentially how it fits. So those are just some thoughts there on the image. Next section here is like the first piece of copy here, your headline or tagline here, and then the one sentence here. Lightweight adjustable fit. So this is a feature, right? This is a feature that you get if you get this headset. And they say designed to conform to the anatomy of the ear for better acoustics, seal, and immersion. So, well, if we read this once, twice, maybe three times, we understand what it means. But this is not the language that gamers use. This is not what gamers talk about when they talk about headsets. I have never used this language at all when it comes to audio, when it comes to gaming and audio, even through my TV, through a headset, through anything like that. I have not used any of this. Conform to the anatomy of the ear for the better acoustics, seal, and immersion. That's nothing of what I've, as a gamer myself, using headsets. That's not how I describe it. Instead, what I would do is say, okay, let's go to forums. Let's go play games and just listen to people talk and ask people about audio, ask people about their headsets and say, hey, if you had to describe your perfect headset, what would you say? And take that language from those gamers directly and use that in the copy. So for example, something that I find really important is clarity of sound. So it doesn't have to be, the volume doesn't have to be loud, but the clarity of it. So in a lot of games these days, you can hear footsteps around you. They have 360-degree audio, so you can hear footsteps behind you, left, right, etc., where you can't actually see on the screen. Clarity in the sense of different effects inside the game. So if you're playing like first person shooter games with grenades, guns, things like that, the sounds of those things when they're going off. That those noises are cues for your brain to say, hey, somebody's over at my right doing this, that, and the other. Somebody's on my left doing something else. When you're playing other games that are more like strategy based or something, the sounds, the noises, the cues, those are all audio cues. The more clear those are and the more direct they are when it comes to you hearing them, the clarity is a huge deal. Now, a lot of gamers may not say, hey, I want clarity of audio, but what they want is I want to be able to hear the footsteps coming from behind me so I can turn and engage the character or person or whatever that's going on. So with that being said, not once, I think I used the word audio. Does it even use, yeah. So I didn't use any of these words to describe what I just described. I didn't use any of these words in the sentence to describe what I just shared. So that's something right there is just proof that this language is not going to connect with gamers if they're buying a headset. We need to go into their world and pull that language out. And again, I think the quickest, I wouldn't say the quickest, but the most raw, visceral way to do this is to go play video games, some very popular games, and play them for hours and hours and hours, and just ask people that you play with, because they're live, they're actual humans, and just say, hey, if you had a headset, how would you describe it? And then what's your perfect headset? And like, is your audio clear? Like, what do you guys think? And just take that language and literally use it for copy and use that to shape the copy you're using to sell the headset. Also forums, reviews, like Amazon reviews, or even your own product reviews or competitor product reviews. There's language everywhere that you can find from the customers, as opposed to trying to guess and maybe use some more jargony industry language that maybe the technicians or engineers that build these things use, but the customers don't use any of that language to actually buy it. So that's the gap, and a lot of brands miss is they talk about their products from their perspective, but they don't go into their customer and say, hey, how do you describe this general product? How do you describe our product? How do you describe competitor's product? They don't go do that, which means you're missing a connection point when it comes to language and it comes to copy. So that's a lot for basically 2 lines of text here, but that's what is underpinning copy when it comes to this type of thing, when it comes to feature benefits and explaining it. So with that being said, that's a huge insight here that I think EPOS could level up on, is just using the customer's language, voice of the customer, and using that to actually sell the product to the customer with their own words. So there's that piece. As we're moving down from that section, we have the CTA here. I like this color against this background. They do have a dark background. And so they use, I don't really know what color this is, teal or something like that, but a very bright color here to say, hey, buy now. Which, as this being a first email, I think that going in and saying, hey, here's a feature, here's a benefit, you should go buy now, I think that's totally fine. I think also too, if they did some more voice of customer research and just kind of got more into the customer's head and the conversations going on, what the customer's thinking, the gamers are thinking, they could probably address an objection 2 or 3 here before they ask to buy, and say, hey, clarity is a big objection. Like if it sounds garbly or gravelly, I can't really hear the game. The volume, if I can control that as fine-tuned as I possibly can to volume. Also to the fit, the comfort, which the main theme of this is the comfort, right? Feel the game, not the headset. So the objection, the one big objection you could go for too is the comfort, because like every headset says it's comfortable, but is it actually comfortable? So the objection is, well, how do I know it's going to fit? Well, if I buy it, if I spend $60, $80, $100, $150 on this headset, $200 more, how do I know it's going to fit? What's your return policy? Can I return it and get a different set? Can I, what does that mean? And we don't, EPOS doesn't really talk about that in this email, even though they're asking you to buy directly. So there's no like risk reversal. the guarantee that, if you get the product, try it for 90 days, and if you don't like it, send it back, or if you want to exchange it, we'll do that totally free at the cost of whatever you paid already, and we'll exchange headsets until you figure out which one fits you best. Also too, I think some other idea that EPOS could run with it, or any headset or accessory based gaming accessory, right, is switching out headphone pads or headphone sets so it actually fits heads better. So I know that the headset across the top of the head, it can adjust up and down and make it smaller, the headset smaller and bigger, but headphone pads. So some people have bigger ears, smaller ears, etc. Some people have more sensitive ears, so you can have thinner pads so noise can get out a little easier. There's a lot of different kinds of things you could do to accessorize or basically make the headset better for the gamer, that they could talk about with the comfort, like all the features and benefit, basically the list of features, the list of benefits when it comes to comfort, and take the main objection or objections and address those in this email. That's something I think a lot of brands too miss, is they don't talk about objections. They don't say, hey, this is something that you're considering and it may keep you from buying. Here's our response to that. Here's how we twist that into, or not twist, but like how do we spin that into a benefit, like how we've addressed that with our product or offer. So that's something to keep in mind too when it comes to asking somebody to buy. Somebody's gonna say no, and the reason they say no, that's the objection you need to address. The reason why they say no is what you need to address. Cool. And then moving down, that's pretty much the rest. That's pretty much it for the email. They have their essential website menu here as well. So they basically took their website and just put an email, their website menu here, which I think is a little, I don't prefer to put menu items like this in the email. I like to focus on one thing, one email, one product, one offer, one CTA, one focus, one concept for each email. Specificity tends to sell better when it comes to products and people buying, because the focus is on one thing at a time. And you can also address, like I said, objections. You can talk about features and benefits for one product. If you have 10 features and each feature has 3 to 5 benefits, each of those feature benefit combos can be an email. So trying to send people off to other things that maybe they're not interested in because they signed up for a headset and they don't want to talk about your press room because they're a customer and they want to know about your headset. This doesn't really do anything. It just distracts them or takes them off the trail of actually buying. So that's something I would say about these footer menus in general is, unless it serves the purpose or the goal of the email that you've decided for a concept, idea, angle, I would just remove them entirely, because you want them to buy now, not go look at their help center or anything else like that. If they are looking for this type of information, they already know your brand. They've potentially already purchased, and they already know where your website is, and they can go do that there. So your email is to sell, to build relationships and sell. So let's do that. And then finally, you have your standard unsubscribe, footer information, and your socials at the bottom. So yeah, with that being said, the big insights here. One, I think the concept, the feel of the game, not the headset, is a great concept. That's the main insight. I think they chose a great angle here, a great concept you could run with. The second thing, I think, not addressing, the second thing here I would go to is the copy here of actually using their customer's language to sell the headset. So use the customer's language to describe the headset, the pain points, the problems, the solutions, the heaven and hell, basically, like what's the heaven situation for you as a gamer, what's the hell situation you're in right now, and then use their language to explain how they get across that gap to heaven, like from hell to heaven, right? And then also the third thing is, there really is no objection handling at all, even though you're direct selling. Like you're just asking for the sale directly. It's no indirect. It's not like a belief changing email. It's just like, here's a product, here's a feature, here's a benefit, buy. If we could address at least one objection around comfort, or maybe a couple, I think this email is going to do better. So those are the 3 big insights. I hope those help. Please take these back to your brand and use them in your own sending. And if you do get results and you do have some results and some sales and things, let me know. I'd really enjoy talking to you about how that worked and just kind of dissecting what that looks like. So with that being said, please check out my other videos on YouTube. I'm doing, like I said, 100 emails in 100 days as a breakdown challenge. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a good one.